All right. How many times am I going to keep talking about this? Biden's mental decline. You, the Italian prime minister had to act like a babysitter for Joe Biden. Now, there was a video that's gone viral, and I'm going to play because obviously because I'll be pulling up an article from the New York Post, and the video that they have is edited where it looks like he's alone. There's a far bigger picture, but Biden doesn't look like he's there. He's wandering off again. Old man Biden is wandering off again. And for those of you who have dealt with loved ones that are on a mental decline, either suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's, or either that, friends that are dealing with the same situation with their loved ones or coworkers, this is going to be difficult to watch. And, I've asked this on the show. Does anyone in Biden's family truly love him? And I think I've finally come down to the real conclusion of what's going on. Biden probably he was in his prime was most likely not an all-star parent, just like all these other politicians in Washington D.C. And in turn, when you create such a hostile, toxic environment, a toxic home, an abusive home, a negligent home, even though they might look rich and fancy, it's understandable why nobody gives a crap. Or either that, they just don't want to do anything at all because it's a culture of fear. So here is the president of these United States. And vote blue no matter who, I get it. I get it, vote blue. I get it that you're triggered by Trump. I get it. But what the hell are you trying to sell me here, huh? This man does not look like he knows what's going on, and he's the president of the United States. This is just like, in comparison to the ancient Roman emperors, the mad ones, the ones who thought that they were gods, or either that were completely insane, murdering people in the imperial palace. Well, or either that so stupid and dumb and incompetent they let the barbarians right through the front gates. Joe Biden is wandering around. So if you get easily triggered or offended, here it is. So you see this man flying in with a parachute. Pay close attention to the president. There's the president. Where's he walking to? The guy doesn't even see you there, buddy. Oh, God. Mouth open, looking confused. Yes. No. Hold on. We're going to rewind that again. Thank you, Italian Prime Minister. Thank you for helping out Grandpa. Jesus. He moves so freaking slow. He looks so confused. Ladies and gentlemen, the leader of the free world. One more time. I'm sorry. Just vote blue. Is this your dog? Is this your fighter? Is this your champion? Is this your hero? To you, my viewing audience, hold on, I'm taking down the video for 1 second. To you, my viewing audience, on election night, the choice is yours. Do whatever you want. Hard Lens Media, we're not endorsing any candidate. Okay? Vote however which way you feel. The world's your oyster on this one. And if you choose not to vote, guess what? That's your choice too. This is not the most important election cycle of our lifetime. It's probably going to be one of the most interesting. I'll say that. I'll go that far. I will bank it on being the most hilarious. Yes, I like dark humor because this almost seems like out of a Hollywood movie. Senile old president who doesn't know where he's at. So do whatever you want on election night. And if that triggers you, vote blue no matter who. Go ahead with the fear tactics because I'm not buying it and neither will my audience. So here's an article from the New York Post. Biden wanders away at G7 summit before being pulled away by the Italian prime minister. By the way, Italian prime minister, well done babysitting, right? Yes, there you go. So, Mamma Mia! Jesus Christ, New York Post. Wait to hammer it. President Biden started to wander off during a skydiving demonstration at the G7 summit in southern Italy Thursday, with the host nation's prime minister, Giorgia Meloni, pressed into action to pull him back toward the group. Isn't that nice? As leaders of the world's wealthiest democracies applauded the evening parachuting presentation, the 81-year-old U.S. president's attention visibly wandered away from where the others were looking. Biden appeared to miss the action happening right in front of him as he shuffled a few steps away from his fellow heads of government, turned the other way, and appeared to say something to an officer packing a parachute, to which that officer, the Italian officer probably, who was, or either that, somebody, wasn't paying attention to Biden because he was packing up his parachute to, I don't know, get the hell out of there. Who knows? Who knows? But he looked so confused. And yet, Democrats, you are saying that this is the guy we need to rally around? This is the guy we need to follow? By the way, hold on. I want to pull this up here as well. This is an article. This is a video here from Case Study QB. And let me just go ahead and pull this up here. Joe Biden is showing signs of slipping, according to Wall Street Journal article. Well, geez, Wall Street Journal. Wow, you finally caught up. Tim Ryan says he thinks the article is good for him to lower expectations. So, folks, all right, it's fine. Just lower your expectations. Don't expect your leaders to help you. Hello, councilwoman. There's lead in our drinking water. I wish there was something I could do, but, you got to lower your expectations. Hello, state representative, state senator. We don't have affordable housing. Can you help us out here? Can you deal with the corruption? You got to lower your expectations, man. We're taking some bribes. Hello, U.S. Senator, U.S. House Representative. Can you help us? Do you have money? Lower your expectations from the President of the United States. Remember there was a time when that office was somewhat respected? Not anymore.
Tonight, President Biden is overseas on a high-profile trip. But here at home, a Wall Street Journal headline is the political talk of the day. Behind closed doors, President Biden shows signs of slipping. That's the headline. The reporters spoke with 45 people, including elected officials on both sides of the aisle who participated in or were briefed on meetings over several months. The thing is, only Republicans were ended up quoted in the piece. And so the White House and some Democrats are now livid. They're saying, in part, congressional Republicans, foreign leaders, and nonpartisan national security experts have made it clear in their own words that President Biden is a savvy and effective leader who has a deep record of legislative accomplishment.
Hey, how confident are you feeling in Joe Biden? Let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 for Kit. Joe Biden is a responsible, seasoned politician who's the leader of the free world. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you, Hard Lens Media, for being so mean to Joe Biden. Type 2, man, that man's an incompetent buffoon, corrupt to the very core. And yeah, he is senile. I wonder how many 2s will get in the chat. And people say I rig my elections. I don't rig my elections. I give you a choice.
Joining me now on all of this is former Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan. Congressman, thanks for joining us. So,
all right, brace yourself for this one. Tim Ryan's going to be speaking the truth, in theory.
You have talked about this issue of President Biden's age and whether or not he should step aside for the next generation. What did you think of this piece?
I actually, and this may be a little unconventional, I actually think it's good for him because it's going to completely lower expectations. We saw this happen during the State of the Union. He's not going to be able to deliver the speech, and there were weeks of preliminary criticisms of the speech already, and then he came out and knocked it out of the park. So I think anything he can do to lower these expectations, which this article does, will only increase the performance during the debate. So I think at the end, it's going to end up being good for him.
So one of the big criticisms of the White House and its surrogates are making are that, okay, only Republicans are quoted on the record in the piece. But does that really surprise you that Democrats wouldn't be eager to have their names behind criticisms of the president?
No, of course not. And like this is all.
It's all perfectly fine. The president crapped his pants on D-Day. He was just showing the veterans that he himself can do a D-Day, a dump day in his pants. I'm going to hell. Hey, audience, cheer me up. I want to see some people making fun of Democrats and Joe Biden. Gee, Kit, why is your audience so mean? Where did they learn it from? They learned it from me. They learned it all from me. Let's rewind that again.
House and its surrogates are making are that, okay, only Republicans are quoted on the record in the piece. But does that really surprise you that Democrats wouldn't be eager to have their names behind criticisms of the president?
No, of course not. And like this is all baked in already. I don't think this is going to shift any voters. I think most people know that, Joe Biden doesn't have the fastball that he had 4, 5, 10 years ago.
Well, then why is the White House pushing back so hard as to suggest that that is not the case?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think.
Not sure. Don't you dare disrespect the name of Not Sure from Idiocracy. There I say it. You know what? I'm here. You know what I'm going to say? Controversial statement in 3, 2, 1. The U.S. Senate and U.S. President from Idiocracy are probably more competent than any of our other sick politicians currently living. Because you know what? At least the people of Idiocracy have an excuse. The previous generations screwed it up for them. So they know that they're dumb. But the thing is, they don't know how to fix it because the previous generation did it. People like Tim Ryan, probably. Oh, yeah, it's perfectly fine to have a senile president. We don't live in a terrible timeline. We live in a very disappointing timeline.
The reality is we have known Joe Biden for a long time. Is he performing the way he was performing 5 or 10 years ago? No, but you don't get paid for performance to be president. You don't.
Bad cookies. I needed that. Hold on. Here we go. One time when Joe was changing Biden's diaper, he saw the poo and he said, "Oh, Rocky Road. Hey, Jack, that's Rocky Road." And dipped his finger in his shite and tasted it. Biden stated after that, "This ice cream tastes like shite." Why is my audience so mean? We learned it from watching you, Kit. We learned it from watching you. That is funny. That is hilarious.
Job is not a job of endurance. It's a job of judgment. And he has shown consistently very, very good judgment. We're reindustrializing the country. We're reshoring jobs. Wages are going up. We got a long way to go, but he's got a lot to campaign on.
And I take the point that you're making about the
Pincus. Well said. Again, audience, I think you're pushing me through this case study. I don't know how you sat through this video. Pincus says Tim Ryan is essentially saying that the American people are idiots that will believe anything.
Policies, but just to get back to something that you just said.
Yep, dumbest interview ever. Congrats, CNN, and CNN wonders why they're going belly up.
It's not a job of endurance. I mean, I think everyone in this country, especially people who observe presidents up close, might disagree with you. The presidency is a hard endurance job. It takes long days, 7 days a week, 24/7. So the idea that it doesn't matter whether President Biden has the stamina to do that job, I think a lot of people, including a lot of Americans, would disagree with you.
Well, I just, I know, the inner circle of how that operation works. I've never been in it. There's a lot of stress. There's no question. I'm not trying to diminish.
Really? Oh, it's such a stressful job. Oh, yeah, you're making excuses again for somebody who doesn't even know where he's at. What Tim Ryan is saying here, ignoring his word salad responses, he's saying, without all the filter, that, yeah, the president is being handled like a senile old man. The job is stressful. It's extra stressful when you have somebody who doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground. That is what's being said right now on CNN. That's the real truth. You have a Democrat, former Democrat, Tim Ryan, former presidential candidate, saying, "Don't worry, shut up. It's just an old man crapping his pants, but he's going to be the leader of the free world. And at least it's not Donald Trump."
Diminish it, but you also don't have to go run marathons. I don't see Donald Trump out bike riding like Joe Biden. He's not exactly, showing a good bill of health here for the American people. So I think Biden's in a good spot. This is
okay. And one other thing here too, not defending Trump. That's right. You liberals, listen to me very carefully. The vote blue, no matter who. Look at Trump's events. he is able to bring in crowds upon crowds of people. You know what I noticed that MSNBC and CNN are doing very just the same way they were doing during the 2020 and 2016 primaries. Whenever Hillary Clinton or Biden was hosting an event, they would focus on just the podium and where Biden was speaking and make it seem like there was a large crowd of people there. When in reality, if you just take 2 steps back or look at the bigger picture, it wasn't a crowded event at all. There weren't a lot of people there at all, period.
All baked in. Nothing here is breaking news. This is going to be, at the end of the day, it's going to be about independent voters in a handful of states who are going to say, do we want 4 years of chaos where President Trump would turn the government, the attorney general, the justice system on American citizens, defund the FBI, defund law enforcement, fire people in the security.
Trump's not going to defund anything. All right. Now, we're talking about 4 years of chaos. Well, I saw the 4 years of the Trump presidency. It was no different than any other president. And before anyone says, oh, but the kids in cages. Oh, Trump did this and Trump did that. Well, no. What Trump did is he took off the neoliberal mask because guess who was doing that? Previous Democratic and Republican presidents. That's all what he did. He just showed how ugly the system is, and everyone got triggered by it, thinking that, oh, Trump's doing it now. No, those kids in cages and all these other neoliberal policies were done by Democratic and Republican politicians. Most notably, it's the kids in cages. That was done by first name Barack, last name Obama.
Security forces, or do we want a guy who maybe lost a few miles per hour of his fastball?
Does the White House need to, instead of telling everybody how, the president has the capacity to do the job, do they need to demonstrate that more? I mean, the president has done fewer interviews, press conferences, even meetings that he was doing just a couple of years ago. Should they change that? Should they ramp up physically what the public can see of Joe Biden?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the Howard Stern interview a few.
Oh, wow. That Howard Stern interview. Earth-shattering and so incredible. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, we talked about that interview, and I'll post a link to it in the comment section so everyone can see it. It wasn't the greatest interview ever. It was Howard Stern being a cuck, being a good old servant, an errand boy, a waiter, to senile old man. My goodness, Howard's head was so far up Biden's wazoo that Biden crapped him out and thought he was Rocky Road. He said, no, man, I'm the Stern, man. Weakness through and through. It wasn't a great interview. It was a clown show. And the reason why Biden isn't doing interviews is probably gets lost in thought.
Weeks back was phenomenal. I mean, that was a great presentation by a gentleman, a guy well-versed in the issues, showed his heart, showed his compassion. I think things like that are great formats for the president. I would personally like to see him do more of that. And I think you will see more of that as the campaign ensues in the coming weeks and months.
All right. Former Congressman Tim Ryan.
Earth-shattering interview. Well done. But hey, you know what? Hold on, folks. It's not all bad for Biden. I want to pull up this video here from Hotspot. Hey, because guess who was there? Zelensky was there at the G7 summit. He stated that he spoke with President Xi Jinping, promising China won't arm Russia against Ukraine before Biden jumps in to correct him, claiming that China is in fact helping Russia. Wow, Biden, you're not that senile after all, are you?
First of all, I had phone conversation with a leader of China.
China, Xi Jinping.
By phone. He said that he will not sell any weapon to Russia. That is the first. We'll see with you. We'll see. But he said to me, if he is a respectable person, he will not, because he gave me the word. The second, you know very good with details, our peace formula is very open for everybody, basing on charter, yes, UN, and you know that it bases on next principles: territorial integrity, sovereignty, nuclear security, food security. If China has alternative view on it, it can prepare alternative peace formula. If we share common views on it, like with globally with all the world, I think so. So if they share the same way to peace, we will find dialogue.
By the way, China is not supplying weapons, but the ability to produce those weapons and the technology available to do it. So it is, in fact, helping Russia.
Ha! Ha ha ha! Just the way he delivered it. I guess he had at one moment where his brain was working, right? Kind of. He woke up. Hold on. Say it again, Biden. Hold on. Biden, you done crapping your pants? Did your brain all of a sudden get some extra blood?
Weapons, but the ability to produce those weapons and the technology available to do it. So it is, in fact, helping Russia.
It is, in fact, helping Russia. And then one final note here, too, again. Just looking at this. Here's the president. Looking confused. Parachute lands. He walks off and wanders away. Vote blue. You want to know why I make fun of Joe Biden and the Democrats? It's because of stuff like this. You're living your own reality. This man doesn't know where he's at. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's confused. He needs people to take care of him. He's a laughingstock to the whole world. And yet this is the guy that's supposed to beat Donald Trump. And even if he does win, he will be the oldest sitting president in U.S. history, a senile old goat. But that's your dog. That's the one you want to be the leader of the free world. Fine, so be it. But I'm not falling for this trick anymore. I'm not going to support the Democrats. I'm not going to support the Republicans. I'm going to vote independent. This might be my last election to vote, period. But I'll tell you one thing. Everyone sees how incompetent senile Joe Biden is. No one wants to have an old goat like that, an old dog like that, leading this country. It's embarrassing. It's a laugh. It's a true joke. So you go ahead and live with that, Democrats. I'm not. But go ahead. Have your meltdown on election night. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be eating good on election night. No matter what happens, at least I know I'm personally going to win.